Alrighty.
Here we go. We're getting into the lobby here. Looks like they're getting ready. Jimmy Carter and Loadman. Okay.
Jimmy Carter, that's right.
That's right. The former president of the United States is apparently just absolutely loaded at Overwatch.
I hear he's cracked. I hear he is pretty goated at his mains. Actually, I do believe that Jimmy Carter is he a tank player, right?
Yeah, both Loadman and Jimmy Carter are tank players, so most likely they'll be.
That's gonna be good.
Well, Loadman also has played DPS.
Okay.
I think that's probably where they'll have him on here now, just because I did see
That's
one of the
probably a good
Rocket
idea.
League players practicing Zarya.
Okay, that makes sense. But again, I don't know how much preparation and strategy have gone into this. We might just be
About
what
30
character
seconds
looks
worth
cool.
is what my guess
Yeah.
is. Hopefully the Rocket League team is just good at listening to the instructions of the two Overwatch players.
Yep.
They're getting themselves hyped up over there. Got to hear all those cheers.
Alrighty.
Just got to have faith in the heart of the
Tower.
cards.
The heart of the cards. I guess that's how we're going.
Okay, so they're going with Lijiang Tower, starting with the. I almost forget what this section of the map is called, but basically the big spot where they have to capture is that circle there within the center. Each team can have an entrance either from that side or the other, or they have a way to meet within the middle with there. So there's a lot of different entry points within it. There are a couple spots where you can go onto high ground and attack people from various angles.
Yeah.
So this is actually a very entertaining one to start on. Got some war cries going on in the background here.
We're getting ready with the spectator client, and here we are.
All right, we got Lazy Rando, interesting name,
Rando
playing
is,
Zenyatta. I like that. I like how apparently Montana State University is going with this. Montana State University, our Rocket League team. A lot of them are choosing. Oh no, that's our Overwatch team. Yeah, no, it's over at University of Montana. That's our Rocket League team.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay, so there's a lot of. They're going a lot with dive, actually. So Zenyatta is really useful in that he puts his healing orb on a person, and then he doesn't have to worry as much about healing. He does a slow heal over time on that character, and the rest of the time he can either put a Discord orb on an enemy, which has them take more damage, or he just shoots.
Yeah.
That's what you see him here is he's just lobbing those giant
got one
orbs
elimination
at people.
On the Rocket League team, 3 eliminations.
There were two
on
of the
Rocket Leagues.
supports, and Junkrat is down. Yeah, this is looking like the Overwatch team.
We got one back up.
Pretty quickly capture the point, and it's going to start ticking up. Now, as you know, with King of the Hill, or as they say, I think within Overwatch, it's called Control, because Blizzard wanted to be original, I guess. You keep control of this point. You don't have to be on it. As long as you have captured it, you can be off anywhere you want, and it'll start gradually ticking up into 100%. If someone else is on the point, they're trying to make calls, but I don't really understand any of the words that are going out over there.
It sounds like true Overwatch comms, my man.
Yeah.
There you go. Yelling and
Pure
screaming.
Chaos. All right, let's see.
Shield orb being used very tactfully right now.
This is pure chaos.
Yeah. It's looking like
the Overwatch team has a very solid hold on this
the
point.
Overwatch team is keeping their players alive very, very well. I don't see
Jimmy Carter's already swapped from Reinhardt over to Roadhog. Oh, 1 second. We're going to be adjusting our settings real quick. Oh, the volume was super loud, apparently.
That's understandable.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, cool. We are actually able to hear now. You're not deafening everyone. Oh, there we go. One of the Overwatch team has gone down. Rocket League is going in. They are ready for the kill.
Let's see it.
However, it looks like they now have decided to just back away. Oh, never mind. They got a hook onto one of the tanks here. And
it looks like
Jimmy
one
of the Rocket
Carter
League
is
teams.
going crazy.
Jimmy Carter is going ham, but it does not look like they did lose. Oh, the hook on the Mercy. So that's two of the Overwatch team down. The Rocket League team is going on. Oh, and they get another one.
And Rocket League is now setting up in a position to try and contest.
They can actually. It looks like they're actually going to be able to capture the points.
I think
the Overwatch team was able to get to 91%, but they got it. Yeah, they are going with all the hype.
There we go. You can hear the hype in the room.
Maybe. I don't know how accurate these microphones are when it comes to that. We're having to hold them pretty close to our face.
Yeah, we can hear it. And now the Overwatch team is going to try and recapture the point, but it's 16 to 91 right now.
The person Soldier. Oh, two of the again. Soldier 76 ended up just shredding through both of the supports, which then meant that the Rocket League team was able to just go up and take out two of the. This is okay. Maverick went a little too deep. I don't think that's the actual player, considering Maverick is one of the head coaches is Battle Tag. I think they're just borrowing it for the Rocket League team since they don't have a BattleNet account.
And honestly, can you really blame them for not having
from playing. It looks like our supports have decided to actually go a bit more focused on this. Yeah, they've switched over from the Mercy and the Zenyatta and are actually going to a bit more of their comfort picks, which are Moira and totally blanking on names. It has been too long that I can't actually think of Baptiste.
No,
that's
Baptiste,
it.
Yes.
Moira and Baptiste.
So I would be a little bit worried if I were the Overwatch team at this point. Momentum is a huge thing, and right now the momentum is in the favor of Rocket League.
Yeah, there's been a lot of staggering going on with the Overwatch team. They just try to walk in, and then the rest of the team is just picking them off.
Right now, it's kind of a madhouse in the center, but it looks like Rocket League still has the advantage.
They've had the advantage, yeah. They've been trickling and just kind of picking off the Overwatch team one by one. Soldier 76 did go down, but that's not going to be enough to actually deal with this. Yeah. I think Jimmy Carter switching over to the Roadhog and getting those hooks was a big change.
And now Rocket League has
99%
the distinct advantage, 99% advantage.
It continues to be contested as long as the other team has someone on the point. Once there's none of them touching, the overtime, as it gets longer, the overtime timer is shorter and shorter, which means that as soon as someone gets off here, most likely it's just going to just snap off. However, the Rocket League team did just get taken out a lot.
Oh my goodness.
So I think the Overwatch team is going to be able to capture it back. Now the Rocket League team is on the back pedal where they have to try to get to the point before it hits 100%.
And it looks like
not looking like that's going to happen. At the last second, the Overwatch team was able to secure this round.
That was intense. That was
a lot closer than I was expecting.
I'm not exactly sure who I was expecting to win, but I can assure you I was not expecting it to be that close.
I'd say that either way, the University of Montana is winning. Hey, they actually fixed the names, too. So it is University of Montana versus U of M. Okay, so it looks like they're sticking with pretty much the same tactics on each side. For the Rocket League team, that's not surprising. They've probably only learned that one character during their brief, like, okay, this is what this person does before the match started.
So they're getting ready to attack. I'm thinking
Overwatch team, however, is swapping it up a bit. It looks like they are going with the Orisa for the tank instead of Orisa and Diva. Okay. So they're having a weird combination where there is still some dive, but they have someone who's able to just stand there for quite a long time. They also are going with the Symmetra route, which gives them a teleporter to get control of this point real fast. The Rocket League team is going to really struggle here. Yeah. Oh, but they did end up taking out two of them already. They just walked right on in and got them.
It looks to me like the Rocket League team is doing a very good job of getting eliminations on the Overwatch team.
Absolutely. However, it looks like it's pretty much even here. They both lost 4. But thankfully, the Lucio has been around, and the two tanks are still alive. So the Rocket League team was able to capture the point at the beginning.
It looks to me like the positioning on the Overwatch team is very strong, but I'm not seeing the ability, the time to kill at least.
I think not having Jimmy Carter or Loadman is making a big difference, because those were the two people that had like the strongest actual leadership positions within the Overwatch team. The others are used to playing with each other, but they don't have the calls that they're used to.
Yes, that makes sense.
Loadman was the original shot caller, and then Jimmy Carter took over as shot caller a bit more recently. So it's a bit more of a thing probably that they're just having to deal with what they're actually having to do for the calls.
Exactly.
And oh my God, these hooks.
Oh my
Jimmy
goodness.
Carter, you're supposed to be decrepit at this age, but
he's
you
still
are
going
just,
for it.
Man.
He's still going for it. You got to be careful of those peanut farmers, man. So.
Oh yeah, they're dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Overwatch team is finally actually together. However, they got stuck in that doorway, and the Baptiste window just shredded through those health bars and forced them to back away.
That's insane. I'm actually
the window's
curious.
down, so now they're trying to get back in.
I'm actually curious to see who would be calling the shots on the Overwatch team at this point, because their normal shot callers are down.
I'm betting it would most likely be Kintsugi. He was the shot caller on the JV team when I was coaching, so he most likely is probably
That makes sense.
That or Bowser Hauser. If Bohemian's playing, they also have a lot of experience with that.
That would make sense. Yeah, it looks like there's not much of a contest against the Rocket League team.
Yeah, this point is really awful. Like if you don't get the capture initially, it is very difficult to actually break in. It's because there's such like narrow corridors to actually get in. But the explosion from Diva. Oh, at 99% they get it back.
Another 99% contest.
Is this gonna be if this is a comeback for University of the Overwatch team? This is gonna be.
That'd be astounding because that would be a 99% comeback. Like you
yeah,
heard,
just going from 0 to 100 after getting behind 99 to 0. Oh man, let's see. Bohemian is very low on health. That is dangerous. They ended up being able to get behind a wall and get healed up by the Mercy, but now it's been like one after the other of the things. But Cheval is popping off on the McCree. The one big thing, though, is that now the Overwatch team has used up a lot of their ultimates. They have Window and they have McCree's High Noon. So the question is, what will the Rocket League team to be able to come back here? They have the two ultimates they have so far is Junkrat and they have Baptiste's Window. The rest of them are all they're all pretty low and they're having to charge up. Lucio, it's going to take forever for him to charge up because most of his ultimate charge is passive healing. If Lucio ends up getting some shots off, then he does charge up a bit better. But as it is right now, this is going to be rough for the Rocket League team to come back from. Like I was just saying before the Overwatch team took it back, this is a really hard part for the map where if someone gets control, that hook was terrifying. I'm pretty certain that whoever that was nearby was just a little startled, to say the least.
I will say it looks like the Overwatch team is holding.
Yeah, it
their
looks like they've
position
gotten
really well.
a bit more in line after the chaos that was going on earlier. They're in a bit more of a spot that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what.
Oh my God, that was 100 to 0 for Soldier there.
Wow. Oh, there you go.
Jimmy Carter in as Jimmy Carter in as Farah has gotten one down. Let's see if he can get any other shots. It's a little tricky considering he's on his own and the others have two healers with them. Jimmy Carter does get taken down, but it does force the Overwatch team to back away into this point. That May block is annoying as heck. It looks like the Overwatch team is going to be able to hold this. But two of the DPS go down. But they get taken. Yeah, that is going to be the first round going to the Overwatch team. Yeah. But that was way closer than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, that was just about as close to the last round. Another 99% contest. I can't really say anything except for they're doing a good job of keeping it close.
Oh, absolutely. Jimmy Carter with that play of the game as Roadhog. Peanut farmers and their hooks, man. Like, look at that. Down goes that robot, and then off they go.
That's insane.
The sleep was good, but then that hook.
It just keeps going.
Oh, Jimmy Carter, really? Did you have to do that?
He just has to do it to him like that. He just has to. It's his responsibility.
You know I had to do it to him, man.
His responsibility to the nation. Alrighty.
All right, so what do we have coming up next for this? It looks like they're going to be at least playing one more game.
I think so.
Let's see, because normally after Control, most likely it's going to be Escort, I'm guessing. We'll see in a second here when they choose the map. We're doing it.
Yup.
But either way, that was way closer than I was expecting with the Rocket League team.
That was really impressive on the Rocket League team, being able to control it for that long, especially against the Overwatch team.
Absolutely. Jimmy Carter and Loadman definitely have been doing really well in helping organize and organize the Rocket League team with where they should go and what they should be doing, especially when it comes to targets, target calling.
And we are entering the game.
Kings Row. Okay, so this is a hybrid map. Basically, there's a first point that you actually have to stand in and capture. There'll be like a little ticker around there, as you can see. But then after that, there's a payload to escort through two more destinations. It looks like who's attacking first. I always forget which side is. It looks like the Overwatch team will be on the offense at the beginning. This is an interesting map in that the first point is usually where the longest time, where it kind of can tell you if it's going to be a steamroll or if it's going to be a really quick map, because there is one choke point that the team has to go through before they can do anything.
Is that the choke point right there?
No, actually, that's after the point is captured. You see the gray border there?
Yes.
That's the point that they have to capture. This right here is the chokehold, which can be really rough if you have a team that's set up and organized to be able to just pick off anyone that goes. There is one other route, but it's a little harder to go through. There's a hotel over to the right here. And if you go up the stairs, there's a little window that you can jump through and then try to head around the back.
But that's not a very wide opening either. That's
yeah, no. So it's really easy to be able to just focus fire down things. Jimmy Carter is back on Reinhardt, and it looks like Lodeman is still playing with Baptiste. This is the exact same composition. Yeah, no. So this is going to be the issue that the Rocket League team turns into the longer this match goes, is that they have a hero pool of 1. I mean, other than Lodeman and Jimmy Carter. So.
And they made it. It looks like they made it through the choke point.
You get like up to here, you're still within the choke point. The real question is kind of if you can push past this tower, because it's kind of a twofold choke point, since there is this crunch between the center pillar there and the wall. As you can see, like, you still can't get very close to the point. Yeah, the Overwatch team, 2 of them have already gone down.
Exactly.
However, Cheval is behind as Sombra. Let's see if anyone realizes. Lodeman did notice and pressured Sombra enough to have to teleport away. And it's back to just getting reset up again to try to push him off. This is Cheval playing as, I think that's how it's pronounced at least, playing as Sombra is really annoying, and that you can set down a teleporter, go invisible, and move to a different spot and harass the enemy team until they start pressuring you back, and then you just teleport away again.
Exactly. The something that we saw a lot from the perspective on Bowserhauser was their excellent use of angles with the map. Knowing where the peaks are, where the good peaks are, and where your enemies are probably going to be positioned to make those smart peaks, especially if you're a DPS or a hit scan character.
Absolutely. You don't want to stand in the middle of the open area, especially when the Overwatch team has a Widowmaker just sniping off in the background.
Yes, and I think that the Rocket League team might struggle with that a little bit. Not having as much knowledge of the map, they might be at a slight disadvantage when it comes to making those peaks, setting up in those angles as well.
Absolutely. They've been doing really well at least hiding within those angles. A Junkrat mine hitting, the Junkrat tire actually hitting the Widowmaker. That I didn't even see where that went. That's an impressive distance to travel without. Okay, so there's a Diva Bomb going off, takes out the Junkrat. But it looks like this is still a pretty mixed thing. They had enough to actually get onto the point. However, Jimmy Carter, again, the Sombra harassment is just making it really annoying for the Rocket League team because they can't just face one direction. There's always someone popping up behind them. Soldier getting hacked by the Sombra. He has to go down. However, Sombra's just kind of up there. Now Sombra has her ultimate as well, though. That makes things a little tricky because it means that he can force, if he gets the right angle and hits all of them, he can make it so that none of them can use their abilities, like right about now. A lot of them got the hacks. Let's see if they get a big hit on that. Jimmy Carter was able to take out 2 of the opposing team before that happened, however, so they were able to buy time. And it's still back and forth here. Oh my goodness, Lodeman.
That was a
sniping the Widowmaker with that window. That is
absolutely wild.
Absolutely wild. All right, so they end up using up the Sombra ultimate. Bohemian has swapped over from Widowmaker to Echo. Echo is really nice when the ultimate gets charged up because you can then play literally any character. The Echo's ultimate ability is to do a copy of one of the characters, but the ultimate ability of including the secondary abilities and the ultimate ability of that character, but it charges, I think it's at like a 600% rate. So it's really good with it, but you also are fairly limited on your health. So as soon as the copy dies, you go back to your normal self. Oh my goodness, that was a powerful shatter that ended up having a very counterintuitive moment. Like the Overwatch team had a shatter that hit about 5 different people there, and then the Overwatch team wiped. It's always really painful when you see that happen.
Yeah, and it looks like the Rocket League team is still holding strong on their position.
There's
and
18 more seconds so that the Overwatch team has to go through. This has been one of the strongest point. This is the hardest points that the Overwatch team's always struggled with, is just this point. Oh my goodness, the Rocket League team is hyped.
The Rocket League team, I do believe, has secured this and pushing back the Overwatch team.
There we go. So the first round is complete. Rocket League team was able to hold off the Overwatch team without a single tick. That was a clean sweep within that first round. Now comes the tough part, though. The Rocket League team has to try to capture the point themselves.
And it looks like now we're getting set up for that take, and this is a situation where we're gonna see if
how the flexibility of the Overwatch team actually makes a big difference.
And
absolutely.
If the Rocket League team is able to secure this objective, I do believe they take this
They'll
round.
get this round, yes. They only need to actually capture a third of the point. Within the thing, there are what we call ticks, which is basically once you get past that point, it can like go back down and it just sticks there. But if there's no capture whatsoever, you only have to get to the first tick to actually count as fulfilling the objective because of that. Which means, Overwatch team, that's going to be so painful. So one of the things that people who are very inexperienced in the game really struggle with are Bastion compositions. And that is what the Overwatch team has decided to go with.
The Overwatch or the Rocket League team?
The Overwatch team. The Rocket League team is going with the same composition they've been doing this entire time.
Which is that 2 tanks?
It's all 2-2-2. There's 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 supports for this entire thing. It's not necessarily locked of who's playing what, but that's what is currently required in Overwatch. Overwatch 2 will have a bit of a change in that it's only going to be 1 tank. It's 5v5 in the next game. But the issue, oh my goodness, that was close. The Junkrat almost took out the Bastion, which would have made things so much easier for them. Anyway, what I was saying is that Bastion is really annoying to deal with for someone who is inexperienced with the game, simply because of how fast they can shred down someone who's not paying attention. They, as you can see, it's a giant minigun turret, essentially, when you're set into a certain position.
I have no doubt that either Loadman or Jimmy Carter suggested one of the players.
This is an Overwatch. That's what the Overwatch team.
The
Rocket League team is doing their usual thing, but Jimmy Carter has swapped over. Instead of playing tank, actually, Jimmy Carter there's triple DPS right now, so it's not roll Q right now, apparently. So they actually are going with some certain ideas here. Jimmy Carter swapped over to Pharah instead of a tank, but that does mean that they're going with a solo Zarya, which means they don't have as much cover as they normally would, for example, with the Reinhardt.
That makes sense.
This might end up being a draw if the Rocket League team doesn't find a way to actually turn this around. I think the big thing is they need to save their ultimates and then just immediately go for using them. But they did get a couple picks out of it. They lost their one of their tanks and then one of their DPS. But then Mercy resurrected Orisa, and now the Overwatch team is turning back and pushing back the Rocket League team once more. What I was going to say is that it would be better for the Rocket League team to just save their ultimates and go for one big hurrah and just take it out. Like, use all of them at once, just press Q and W and just, take them out. Because it's a lot harder to deal with that, especially when you only have the 1 tick to do.
There you go. There are the Overwatch call-outs. Lots of screaming,
except
lots of
one
yelling.
of the Rocket League guys.
So, they're naturals, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And there, I don't know how Bowser Hauser is doing this, but they are pushing back.
Bowser Hauser has had a lot of experience playing as Mercy, and so there's some really cool tricks that you can do for getting kind of crazy mobility out of them. However, now it is reaching a point that no ultimates are really up for the Overwatch team other than Bastion's tank mode, which has been there pretty much since about a quarter of the way through the game. You see how fast that shreds through health bars? Like, that was only about half a second of being out in the open.
That's ridiculous.
All the minigun has to do is just kind of point down there, because it requires a lot of coordination to deal with a Bastion. You don't see it much within professional compositions because they have that coordination and that focus. But within this, especially against the Rocket League team, which is very new to the game, it's a rough time to deal with.
Yeah. It looks like they have their position secured pretty decisively, and they only have 52 seconds left in the match, in the round, rather.
Bastion hiding in this little corner. The hook! but then there was the Ana grenade to save them. Oh, that's
That was
unlucky.
almost a sneaky
Jimmy
little
Carter
play.
almost got the play.
Almost. That was close.
So Salty Pops was able to take out Bowser, but yeah, no, the majority of the Rocket League team is down right now. Interesting. I am seeing a couple people switch characters. For example, Maverick actually tried to play the Widowmaker there. Didn't seem like it went too well, but I could totally see the idea is just trying to snipe out the Bastion at a distance.
Yeah.
But let's see.
And it looks
One
like
last push that the Rocket League team has.
we have
Lazy
a
Rando
Mercy.
pushing him back with the Roadhog ultimate.
Snag.
Yeah, this is. It looks like the Rocket League team. This is going to end in a draw.
Yeah.
So, although they had a really clean hold, the Overwatch team was able to hold them off for the next round. All right, play the game.
Another
Jimmy
play
Carter
of
is
the game
Ryan.
from Jimmy
I think
Carter.
this was the six person slam. No, okay, no, most of them are dead. This is oh, it was the double charge.
Wow.
Okay, Jimmy Carter. Oh my God, you just keep doing it to him.
Disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful on the Overwatch team. His own team. His own team.
His own team.
I'm sure he's gonna get some flack for that at practice.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So how many games are we doing here?
Yeah.
One more. All right. So they just did hybrid. I'm betting they're going to go for straight escort now because the Overwatch team absolutely hates 2CP. 2CP is just so easily cheesed, and it's a nightmare. But we'll see.
And that would make it I believe, a tiebreaker game.
No.
Not a tiebreaker, not a game-winning game if the
Overwatch team
can
wins,
make it out.
or if it's another draw, the Overwatch team wins.
Yes, if it's another draw, then. the
However,
Overwatch team
escort
win.
also is practically impossible to draw. They are going with 2CP, though. They are going with the Temple of Anubis. Okay, well, I did say they dislike doing it, but they're apparently going for it. We call it 2CP. Blizzard, again, trying to be completely original, calls it Assault. Basically, you have 1 point to capture like it was there in Hybrid, where you try to get through all 3 ticks. And then there will be another point further on that you have to capture. The defending team and the attacking team spawn points change after the first point is captured. The one issue within this map is that on the second point, it is very difficult to actually capture it, as the spawn point is basically right outside the door of the point that they're defending. So you can just continuously just have people running in, and it just
You're gonna have a
so
problem
much
with
time.
spawn camping.
Absolutely.
So which characters do you think are going to be the best for getting those spawn camp kills and defending in a more aggressive way on this map?
So when you defend in a more aggressive way, there's a lot of off angles you can get here and various high ground things. On the first point, honestly, what you need to have is usually what it is there's a one hit scan and then one other, for example, Junkrat, some kind of projectile that's just there to harass. It's either Junkrat or Farah, and you just park on top of this. You'll see once the game actually starts, but there's a spot where there's another choke point that you try to hold at while people are going through. That's in front of the points. They have to get past you to get to the points. You're not even on the points, so it's a bit more of a tricky thing there. But honestly, I'd say that the Rocket League team would do decently with the composition they've already been doing. Other than, I'd say that Jimmy Carter should probably play something like Orisa. The Reinhardt does do okay. However, it's also still it's a bit harder simply because you're just standing at the high ground. You can occasionally throw at a fire strike, but you can't do the constant harassment that, for example, Orisa does, who has a pseudo minigun on her arm.
So that high rate of return, very frequent level of attacks is going to be
so
more
right here is what I was talking about.
Yes.
The defensive team just basically parks here, and the opposing team, the attacking team, has to get through those 2 gates to try to get over there. So it's a very good harassment point.
Alrighty, well, it looks like we have about 30 seconds until the game starts. How are you thinking the composition is looking on their current characters?
As I said before, it looks like the composition that the Rocket League team is doing, it works. It's the same characters as they were doing before. Jimmy Carter on Reinhardt, probably just his more comfortable character.
That's
than Orisa.
understandable. We've seen what he can do with a Reinhardt.
And yeah, we've seen what he can do with a Reinhardt. The shield is really useful in this spot. Orisa's nice in that you can just literally set down a shield and then move elsewhere. However, the Overwatch team, they're going. It looks like they're trying to go. It's a pseudo dive comp with the Tracer and the Winston. Don't even know what actually hit the Tracer there to nearly take him down to half health by that first point. However, they are able to get partially through the point. Bohemian is rip. Thankfully, Soldier is very useful for dealing with Echo, as well as the Mercy, as long as they're not in weird angles like that.
That Mercy looks like it's giving them some problems, though.
Absolutely, it's weird angles that they're having to like keep on turning around for. The Resurrection is very powerful. Not as powerful as it used to be, as the original Resurrection was like an instant, as many people as were within range. Ultimate, which was rather broken. Now it's you have there's a channeling time to do the Resurrection, and it's on one person, and there's a long cooldown with it, and you have to be in that zone for the time. So it's a bit trickier. Mercy is very useful in that there is both healing and damage boosting that she can do.
Yes.
So you'll see, for example, here, currently the Mercy is just hanging around healing the Roadhog. Roadhog was able to take out the Zarya. Oh, and then there was a hook on the Reinhardt. Okay,
Jimmy
the Overwatch
Carter's
team has
down.
taken down both of the Rocket League team's tanks. It looks like Loadman, you gotta stop doing this to me, man. There's one window, and Rocket League team is holding pretty well, considering they lost both of their front line here.
Yes.
They did have to commit a couple ultimates to it. You have to be very careful with that tech to be able to actually get over that jump. It's practically impossible. Like you only if you get like a one exact angle is when you're able to get the thing.
And it looks
Did
like
Bohemian
they're trying to
just use
capture
the echo
point.
copy on the Lucio?
I don't know,
I think I say.
but
Alright.
I think.
All right, it's back to objective B. And the other thing is that with 2CP, that adds a ton of time when you capture. I think it's like 3 minutes get added to the timer. So the Overwatch team has 5 whole minutes to try to capture the second point, which is it feels like an excruciating amount of time when you're on the defense.
That's forever, especially in an arena game like this.
Poor Zarya got slept and just completely annihilated from the rest of the team.
Absolutely teamed on. This
All
was.
right.
This does look though.
Like Bohemian got picked by a Junkrat.
Tough spot for the.
But there was a
Overwatch
resurrection
team.
on Bohemian as Echo. So at least there's that. And so they're going for the point. This is one nice thing with the dive that you can just literally jump on. So Reinhardt is down. Jimmy Carter.
That's Winston
apparently
there.
the Winston jumping around was just too much for a lot of the Rocket League team to handle. You just hear one of them going, "Who is that?" So as you can see, like this is what I was talking about when it comes to just like people will be constantly trickling in, and as long as there's one person on the defending team touching the point, the attacking team can't capture it. Like there's no progression on the capture, which means that there's a long time that can be done just having one person be someone who is very mobile and able to dodge a lot of things. And there goes Soldier.
You're gonna see that a lot, I think, with the more experienced players in the Rocket League team, meaning Loadman and Jimmy Carter, being able to avoid some of those onslaughts by the Overwatch team.
It looks like the Overwatch team was able to actually take out a lot of them together. They're able to get to 1 tick, 2 ticks. Are they going to be able to get to 3 before anyone touches? Yes, they will.
They do,
with that
and round
knocking
one
out
is
of the
over.
Soldier. Okay, round 1 is complete with 3 minutes and 16 seconds to spare for the Overwatch team. Now let's see how the Rocket League team is able to handle that first point. It looks like the Overwatch team has been continuously just getting warmer and warmer as this match has gone on.
Getting used to not having their regular shot callers, as well as getting used to playing some rather erratic candidates.
Absolutely.
In their,
I'm not
in
sure
their
how much they've
opponents.
actually played in the last few weeks, considering they had the playoffs about a month ago, and then after that was finished, they probably had some playtime together, but I'm honestly not certain how it's been going. So it might be that they literally have just they've been having to shake off the rust from the past few weeks.
And also, you always find in any game, in any esport, the worst you play is when you're playing your worst opponent, because they do not act like like someone you would expect.
Exactly. It's like when when you're playing a chess player and you're like, okay, they're going to do this thing next, and then they make a move and you're like, what the heck are they doing?
Exactly. You can't predict what doesn't make sense.
Man, they're pure chaos.
At this point, the pure chaos.
For example,
I think,
they're going on a Bastion on an offense comp, so.
Is that Jimmy Carter on the Bastion?
Jimmy Carter is playing Bastion, and they're using Maverick has swapped over to Orisa, actually playing as tank. So they're going triple DPS with a Baptiste and a Lucio with the Orisa pushing. This is a really weird offensive composition. This feels like more like something you would have on defense. I see the Overwatch team as well has gone with a Bastion composition just because they realized.
Oh my, that is a terrible angle to hold.
It is, yeah, it is like
terrible for Rocket League, not terrible for Overwatch.
It's amazing for the Overwatch team, yeah. Bastion is really annoying for people who are inexperienced with the game, for sure. Which, on offense, Bastion's not as useful. Yeah, Jimmy Carter's already realized that. Swapped over to Pharah, like, that's just not going to work. So they've swapped over to Pharah to try to get some long-range rockets to hit the Bastion instead of making sure that, hit scans struggle against Bastion because generally all the heroes around them are made to support the Bastion. The Orisa's there to add a shield in front of them so that they don't get hit with regular shots. There'll be a Mercy there to give damage boost to it. It's just a lot of things that you have to get around to actually take out the Bastion, which
looks like
a nightmare.
Jimmy Carter and Loadman are setting up to do an attack with their full team instead of just trickling in and getting pushed through, which is a very good strategy.
It looks like Loadman did switch to Mercy to damage boost the Pharah just so that the rockets could, do a lot more damage here. Like, as you can see, those shields are just being shredded through instantly with that damage boost. And oh my goodness, that was deleted instantly. This is just...
This is a bit of a blowout
rough.
At this point. We've got 2 minutes 20 left on the clock in order for Rocket League to capture or contest
I think the thing that'll make a big difference is if Junkrat can get a really good angle on the Riptire. It's basically the thing that'll happen here is most likely once the Junkrat gets his ultimate, Mercy and Pharah will try to take a different approach just to pull the attention in one direction. Junkrat will try to sneak around a side, launch the Riptire, and try to take out as many people as possible. Ideally, take out the Mercy and the Bastion at the very least, since they're the two most important spots within that. However, Overwatch is not letting that happen, and they're moving forward into this choke.
That is just...
Bastion's activating his ultimate. I don't know why I keep on gendering the robots. Orisa, I think, is because it has a female voice, but Bastion literally doesn't even have a gendered voice. So maybe I should start using they for that. Anyway.
So what we're seeing, we saw a pretty nice shot.
That was a really good push forward. Yeah. But Rocket League team does now nearly have 5 of their 6 ultimates. Didn't see anything actually happen with the Riptire, unfortunately.
And now we have 5.
Jimmy Carter did get the Bastion,
6.
but they didn't get the Mercy, so the Mercy was able to resurrect right after.
That is an unfortunate.
And the Overwatch team turned it around. That is so rough.
50 seconds left on the clock for Rocket League to try and capture, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn this one around unless they have a really, really good push from their whole squad.
So what they have here is Widowmaker's ultimate, which is not very useful for what they have right here. Widowmaker's ultimate basically allows you to see everyone around angles. Orisa, apparently, you can tell that the Rocket League player had never actually touched Orisa before in that they didn't, as soon as they were hooked, they didn't utilize their reinforce ability, which basically makes it that they take reduced damage and they're not susceptible to crowd control. So definitely a few things here that the difference in experience is making pretty apparent. Bowser Hauser nearly lost that duel against Lucio. That was
gonna say.
But in the end, the Overwatch team did end up defeating the Rocket League team. That was a lot better of a fight overall than we were expecting, though. When we first went into this, well done to both teams. That was a ton of fun.
Those first 2 rounds were extraordinarily close.
Insanely close, absolutely. Here, I think this might have been when we were hearing people. No, this is just literally standing behind them while they were grenaded by the Ana nano
there
grenade.
You go. The infuriating Winston.
All right. And there we have it.
I do believe that is the total on the
That is the end of the show match, I believe.
on
So
the
we'll be,
Overwatch versus Rocket League.
yeah, that was a great show match overall, though. That was fun. What do we have
Alrighty.
up next?
What are we doing? We're gonna do a getting over it filler,
Okay, so
Alrighty.
we're going to be doing a filler of Getting Over It,
and then we'll have some League of Legends.
and then we'll be following
That's
that up with some
exciting.
League of Legends.
Alrighty.
So we'll see you guys soon.
Alrighty. Thank you.